Welcome to the Destiny 2 Game of the Year August 2023. In this summary, I'll provide my feedback on the topics covered. Before we delve in, please note that the full article is linked in the description box below, and you're welcome to read it for yourself to form your own opinions. Addressing feedback. Let's start with addressing player feedback. The team mentions that they've been tracking player feedback for months and have made efforts to address some issues. However, I do share the mentions of the author who wonders where this feedback is being sent to and why the developers haven't directly reached out to the player base for input. Contacting players through emails or in-game messages could be a great way to foster a stronger community. Moving on to ritual updates, the article highlights before that players can play whatever content they want versus others they dislike. For example, let's say you love doing streaks but hate Gambit and PvP. You can still play streaks all day and not have to chase down the others, which is a good thing, but that will also make the grinding faster to the point where the player base will complain about needing more things to do. Moving on, they go on to say they are increasing the ritual engram drops after completing ritual activities. The ritual loot pool weapons focusable at certain vendors at the start of the season, versus needing to wait until the following season to chase the guard rolls. My question is, how much of a grind will we need to do to be able to purchase these items if the previous seasons are anything to go by? For example, the current season, Season of the Deep, you need an engram from the vendor which takes time to level up, as you will need also glimmer, shards, etc. They mention that these weapons are to come into effect as of next season for their respective playlists. Unending Tempest Stasis Submachine Gun in the Crucible, Lunar Regolith 3 Solar Sniper Rifle in Shrieks, Qua Axapan V Void Machine Gun in Gambit, Catrapact GL3 Strand Grenade Launcher in Trials of Osiris, and more. So in the previous posts they said you don't need to play certain activities if you don't want to, but they mentioned there are 4 weapons, so if you want them you're still going to have to get all of the other activities complete anyway. And I mean, good luck in PvP and Trials with all the cheaters running around ruining it for everybody. They go on to say they are bringing back older guns to the ritual playlists, which are Igneous Hammer Solar Hand Cannon in Trials, and revamping the Warden's Law into a brand new archetype as a Nightfall reward. Why do we need to chase the same guns we already have seen in the past seasons? Why not make some new weapons instead of giving us old ones back again? It's just strange to me that if it's a new season, make new season weapons, versus giving us old content that we already paid for. Next category is going to be Guardian versus Guardian. So for the PvP player base, they are asking for new maps. I myself have said this for a long time. I don't know about anyone else, but when I play PvP I only get between 3 to 4 maps all night, and I can be playing between 4 to 6 hours a night with my fellow clansmen. They also mentioned before that when they focus on one area of the game, for example PvP, they can't use other resources to work on Gambit, Streaks, PvE content such as story, seasonal quests, etc. Now I'm sorry, why do you have to put those resources to start with? Shouldn't you have multiple teams in all areas of the game? Why not hire more people if you need any extra help? Because the Witch Queen having over 1 million players, and for the recent expire of Lightfall having over 1 million players, so money is not the issue. The player base loves Destiny, but we also need to see the better things coming to the game, because saying you don't have the resources to me is honestly a joke. You either need to hire more people, or the people you do have are not doing their job correctly. They even said these words: foundation of each season or new destinations. So does this count as a new map? Because that was a planet that was given to us with the release of Destiny 2, which I personally do not count as bringing an old planet back as new. New to me is when you give us a new planet with new enemies, versus throwing us on Titan and taken back into our faces. They go on to mention they have something to shake up PvP for the gear and balance, which will evolve over time. Now this is interesting because I see a lot of players in PvP using abilities they are always recharged, whether that be melee charge, grenades, or class abilities. So if they can combat that, great to see where it goes. Because I do want to see PvP getting the love that it does deserve to the game, as well as it's just right now hard to enjoy it when you see a lot of people lagging, shooting through walls, getting constant headshots, etc. And I know this is not all of us cheating out there. There are some genuine players that are actually great at this game. For PvP for Season 22, which is next season, there is finally a new PvP map coming called Multiplex, a Vex themed map which can be, by the sounds of it, next season we might be fighting the Vex again. There is also a new game mode called Checkmate, no, not chess, where the gunplay focused checkmate modifier for multiple modes where rich primary weapon fights can happen more often, and gun skill can be augmented by communication and strong positioning. Now this could be another issue because if players fall certain places in the map, they can just keep getting headshots that would turn badly very quickly. I have wanted since Destiny 1 for there to be PvP modes of various activities, such as primaries only, no specials, no rockets, no supers. Another I would love to see is a gun mode where you use all the exotics where you have to get a kill with each weapon and climb the ladder to win. I do have more ideas, but they are just some, and hopefully Checkmate will be great. Relic. Another new mode called Relic, which is a 6v6 mode where players can use weapons from Vortiglass, Season of the Risen, Season of the Haunted. It is meant to be the same idea as Mayhem and Team Scorched. More to come in Season 2023. Wait, what? No, more to come in Season 23. Another map returning is Citadel from 2018 to the Crucible is Season 23. Another issue where they are giving us older maps instead of making new ones. Finally, moving on to Vanguard. The Vanguard has a healthy player base from what they said. I'm sure it does because not everyone wants to play PvP with cheaters and Gambit we will talk about further more in this post. Back to the Vanguard though. They are using Vanguard medals in both Vanguard Ops and Knights for the next season after being introduced in last year's Guardian games. I am sorry, but why are you using an event method and putting them into streaks? Because that just seems lazy with no creativity behind it. And then when the Guardian games comes back, it will be very similar. It will look the exact same, and people may be put off by that, and that's if people stay around after Final Shape drops next year. They go on to mention focused more of our teams. Resources, again. Resources into season activities such as Battlegrounds to put them into Nightfalls and Grandmasters, which again sadly in using older content to put into a new and current season, why not just make a new Battlegrounds map dedicated for that season? Instead, it's fresh, new, etc. But they would rather give us older content that we paid for. Gambit. Oh boy, do I feel bad for the Gambit player base right now. They publicly admit they haven't touched Gambit since the Witch Queen. The Witch Queen came out back in February 2022. That's over a year and then some. They say, well, we don't have plans to dedicate more resources, significantly transform Gambit. Why do they keep saying resources again and again? Just hire more people if you're struggling because you clearly need the help. Moving on. They mention things for Gambit to come into Final Shape. These include porting the Cathedral of Scars, another old map that was in Forsaken we paid for. They are throwing at us, why not just make something new to the season? They are also adding Shadow Legion and Lucian Hive to the map. They go on to mention you don't have to play Gambit unless you want the new Void machine gun. I feel so bad for this game mode and the player base who loves this mode. I play Gambit a lot myself, especially when I'm chasing the seasonal ornaments or seasonal challenges. It's just sad to see this sit there with no updates until Final Shape. Armor set rewards. Moving on to the armor set rewards. They go on to mention they have and haven't added any gear towards ritual playlists, Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit with Lightfall. They won't be doing anything about that until Final Shape drops. But they do have a set for trials. Game security. They go on to mention that they have done and what's to come for the cheaters, gathering data, evolving their information, etc. Which is great. This is a so much needed feature for Destiny 2 right now, with the cheaters running around and ruining it for the player base who just want to have some fun and blow off some steam. We just want to have fun. Stability updates. They go on to talk about what they have done previously and what's to come in the next season and the follow-up seasons. Seasonal structure. They go on to say that they have plans. They do mention what is coming next season and they hope players will enjoy what they receive. I personally did not like the current season of the Deep. There was Honestly, nothing. We did the same deep dives and salvages, way too much, and let's not forget the fishing aspect, which is just so bare bones. This is definitely a season they should have not honestly released. Here's the rundown for things to come next season. Cosmetic rendering, you will be able to pin up to 100 ornaments and emotes to the top of the list. I'm hoping that means 100 for each and not combined. I like the idea behind this, and it's a feature I've been wanting since Destiny 1. From next season, stasis aspects and fragments are being moved to the vendor system, instead of doing the quests for them, which begs the question, are they about to remove content related to Beyond Light? Next up, we have the trends mats, where you can simply just click on each for your ship, which is also something I wanted since Destiny 1. Sadly, there is nothing transmog wise for the ships or sparrows, which is something I certainly do want to see. Resources are now being added to the collections tab because we need to know all of what we have obtained before they are removed from the next season. Iron Banner challenges are being split, which doesn't seem interesting to me. Ritual rank ups, immediately you will now be given the rewards. Moving on to sandbox updates, new strand aspects to all classes, exotic armor reworks part 2, new weapon subfamilies incoming, weapon tuning preview, hand cannons will see an increased reload speeds and PvE damage buffs against minor and majors. Zord full power heavy attacks will be usable with any non-zero amount of Zord energy, and the Zord guard is being buffed in several areas. Touch of Mallets, surprisingly, is getting some tweaks. In conclusion, an article that was not needed, as the team does mention this will be all said in the showcase in just over a few weeks. Personally, I did not like this read up. I felt this was more excuses for needing more resources, bringing older maps, guns, etc. back into the game. Please do let me know your thoughts on this. I already gave an update on the state of Destiny 2 on my channel, which I will leave in the description box below if you want to go check that out, which I do highly recommend. But for now, all we can do is hope for a better Destiny 2 future, and until next time, Guardians, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you thought about it below. Check the links in the description and you can pick which platforms to follow me on. If you're new around here, how about subscribing and clicking the notification bell, as I put out new videos every single day. I've been VictorVeloDragon, and I'll speak to you soon.